Once upon a time in the mega city of Lagos, there lived a young man named Chibiike. He was tall, lean, and full of determination, but life had never been kind to him. Every morning before the sun fully rose, he was already out on the busy streets of Lagos doing everything he could to make ends meet. He weaved through the busy traffic, calling out to customers, chasing after moving cars, and risking his life just to make a sale. Chibuike had dreams, big dreams. But in a city where survival was a daily battle, dreams often took a back seat to the harsh realities of life. He wanted more than just scraping by. He longed for success, comfort, and respect. But the path before him was unclear. Temptations lurked in every corner, promising quick money and an escape from his daily life struggles. This is the story of a young man who walked the thin line between darkness and redemption, learning the hard way that true success is never rushed. One sunny afternoon, as Chibuike was busy running in the midst of the busy traffic to make some sales, he wiped the sweat off his forehead as he walked through the busy streets of Lagos, expertly balancing a tray of bottled drinks on his head. The sun burned like fire, and the noisy voices of traders filled the air. Yellow buses honked, and impatient drivers shouted at each other. "Buy your cold drinks, ice-cold water, refresh yourself, refresh your body system," Chibiike called out, hoping to make reasonable sales before the day ended. He had been a street hawker for more than 5 years. Ever since his father died and left him and his mother with nothing, he and his mom have had to deal with numerous challenges. Every morning, he would go to the market, collect drinks on credit, and spend the entire day selling. But despite how hard he worked, the money was never enough. As he made very little profit from his sales, Chibuike dreamed of a better life, one where he wouldn't have to run after moving cars or beg people to buy from him. He wanted to open his own shop one day, but with the little he made, that dream felt impossible. One faithful evening, as he counted his little earnings he had made for the day under a streetlight along the street, his best friend from childhood, Shei, walked up to him. Chibiike barely recognized him. Shei was wearing a gold chain, a designer shirt, and expensive sneakers. From his appearance, one could tell he was swimming in money. "Chibiike, my guy, it's been so long," Shei said, smiling. Chibiike looked at him with surprise. "Shei, you look totally different. Where have you been?" Shei laughed. "I've been enjoying life, my brother. You're still struggling with this hawking thing? What if I tell you that there is an easier way to make money, Chibuike? Quick money, no stress, no unnecessary struggles." Chibuike frowned. "What do you mean?" Shei looked around and whispered, "Come with me. Let me introduce you to some people who can change your life." Chibuike hesitated. He had heard of boys who made quick money, but he also knew that many of them ended up in trouble. But then he thought about his struggling mother, struggling to pay rent. He thought about the hunger in their home and the dreams he had. Maybe it was time to stop suffering, he exclaimed. Later that night, Chibuike followed Shei to a hidden spot behind an old building. A group of young men sat in a circle, counting wads of cash. They looked dangerous, but they welcomed Chibuike with smiles. "This is Chibuike," Shei introduced him. "He's ready to change his life." One of the men, a tall guy with a scar on his cheek, smiled. "Chibuike, here, we make real money. No need to suffer in the hot sun like a slave. Just one job and you'll be rich forever." Chibuike's heart pounded. "What kind of job?" Chibuike exclaimed. Scarface, as the others called him, grinned. "Very simple. We take from those who have too much and keep it for ourselves." Chibuike swallowed hard. He knew exactly what that meant. This was no ordinary hustle. This was crime. This was a very dangerous business. Shei patted his back. "Don't be scared, Chibuike. Just think of all the things you can buy. A big house for your mother, a nice car, a good life." Chibuike felt torn. The idea of having money sounded good, but was this the right way? "Give me time to think about it," he finally said. Scarface nodded. "No problem, my brother, but do not take too long. Opportunities like this don't wait forever." Chibuike could not sleep that night. He kept thinking about what Shay had told him earlier. His struggling mother's voice echoed in his head. "My son, hard work may be slow, but it brings lasting success. Easy money brings sorrow and destruction." The next day after work, Chibiike went to see Shay again. "I need to be sure," Chibiike said. "Tell me, is this really safe?" Shay sighed. "Look, Chibiike, nothing in life is completely safe, but if you can play smart, you'll be fine." Before Chibiike could respond, loud gunshots rang through the streets in the neighborhood. "Run! Run!" someone shouted. They hid behind a parked bus as they watched the police officers chasing after two young men. One of them was Scarface. "Freeze, or we'll shoot," one of the police officers shouted. Scarface refused to stop. The next moment, he fell to the ground. Blood poured from his chest. Chibiike's whole body went cold as he watched from afar. Shay grabbed his hand. "We need to go." They ran through dark alleys until they reached a quiet street. Chibiike gasped for air, his heart still racing. "That could have been us, Shay," he whispered. "Scarface is dead. He is dead. They shot him." Shay was silent for a long time. Then he said, "Maybe this life is not for you, Chibiike." Chibiike turned to him. "It shouldn't be for you either." Shay shook his head. "It's too late for me." Then he walked away, disappearing into the night. Chibiike immediately knew he had to change his life. Although he hadn't made up his mind yet, he completely gave up on the quest for quick and easy money. He went back to selling drinks, but this time he was more determined. He saved every little profit he made, refusing to spend carelessly. One day, as he was hawking his cold drinks along the busy street, an elderly shop owner named Babatunde sighted him and called him over. "Young man, I have been watching you for a long time," Babatunde said. "You are very hard-working and honest. Come and work in my shop. I will teach you everything you need to know about my business." Chibiike could hardly believe it. "Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir. I won't disappoint you. I promise." Chibiike worked in Babatunde's shop for several months, learning how to buy and sell goods, how to manage money, and how to grow a business. He continued saving, and with time, he was able to open a small kiosk of his own. His business grew. Slowly, he expanded from selling drinks to selling foodstuff. Years later, Chibiike's small kiosk became a proper shop. He sold variety of items, and life was much easier. One evening, as Chibiike was about closing his shop, he noticed a familiar figure seating across the street. Behold, it was Shay. He looked tired, hungry, and defeated. Chibiike walked up to him. "Shay?" Shay looked up, his eyes filled with shame as he whispered, "Chibiike, I messed up." Chibiike sat beside him and said, "It's not too late to start again, Shay. Life always gives second chances to those who are willing to change from their evil ways." Tears rolled down Shay's face. "Do you think I can?" Shay exclaimed. Chibiike smiled. "Of course you can. You just have to be determined and have faith. With time, things will surely get better." Few months later, Shay started working for Chibiike. He learned the value of patience and honest labor. Together, they built the business into a thriving store, which became one of the biggest in the neighborhood. Chibiike's mother smiled proudly one evening as she sat outside their new home, no longer worrying about unpaid rent. "My son," she said, "I always knew you would make me proud one day." Chibiike bowed down his head as he remembered the busy street where he once hawked drinks. Chibuike had learned one of life's greatest lessons. He never forgot his struggling mother's words of encouragement about the need to be patient and focused, no matter the situation we find ourselves in life. Although his hard work was usually slow, but it paid off in the end. Chibuike had come close to choosing the easy way out. He had seen the wealth, the fast life, and the illusion of success that Shay and his gang offered him. But he had also seen the truth, the danger, the fear, and the emptiness behind the flashy clothes and stolen riches. He had watched his childhood friend fall from grace, taken away in handcuffs, his dreams crushed by greed. The road was often tough. There were days he felt like giving up, days he wished for a shortcut, But he held on despite all odds, and slowly, things began to change. His business grew, and so did his confidence. Years later, he was no longer the boy running after moving cars. He became a very successful businessman, helping young hustlers like himself find their way in life and become successful just like him. Hope you enjoyed the story. If you are inspired by Chibuike's story, kindly support us by subscribing to the channel. Don't forget to like and comment on the post. See you on the next one.